drinks, I'm like no soda on that Yoda. Had them fiends coming back to keep it deep, like the Navy when it's time to attack. Call me Major League when I swing that bat, drafted for hardball. But I'm a knockout king, unbreakable, unshakable. You can call me unfadable. So don't take this game for granted. Load up the cannon, twin fours like Ed and Charles O'Bannon. I'm ready with no training, so stop complaining. Yo, you love it, hey, you hate it. Y'all overrated, so get squashed in the first round. Letting that heat go like Nate was on the mound. You can call me Killjoy when I clown, or Cujo when I write. Slap you up like Ike on release night, I'm tight. But watch your mouth, or grit your teeth like the Klan. Your face is covered with a sheet, run like a meat, or get chopped like beef. Sitting in the same position, thinking about that hesitation. Now look what your ass is facing, months of rehabilitation. Sitting in the same position, thinking about that hesitation. Now look what your ass is facing, months of rehabilitation. Sitting in the same position, thinking about that hesitation. Now look what your ass is facing, months of rehabilitation. Painkillers, cherry pickers, now your life is really realer than the realest cat you know. Pushing all that powder snow. Now you must be a Keebler elf off in the skies because you soft batch. Missing them chips, you think you live, but this ain't Apollo. Here today, sunny, no tomorrow. Brick road of sorrow, hollers to follow, point blank. Homicide, rubber grip, and a leather hide. No vest, no mess, no stress. 3 times 2 to your fucking chest. No trace, no clue. What the hell you gonna do? Blue is through a beating too. I'm about to set it off. Split your motherfucking mouth. Hit it, chin and back again. Now you needin' oxygen. You might never clot again. Blood is getting very thin. Low Venox to help your bruh. Post shots in your fucking gut. Every 6 hours shit. Laxatives to help your shit. Bed pants and rubber sheets. Can you even feel your feet? Maybe legs, arms is dead. Try to move your eyes and head. A power cherry get you there when you reach your destination. Sitting in the same position, thinking about that hesitation. Now look what your ass is facing. Months of rehabilitation. Sitting in the same position, thinking about that hesitation. Now look what your ass is facing. Months of rehabilitation. Sitting in the same position, thinking about that hesitation. Now look what your ass is facing. Months of rehabilitation. Painkillers, cherry pickers. Now your life is really realer than the realest cat you know. Pushing all that powder snow. I like that, boy. Yeah, that's it right there. I guess that's it for y'all boys. Ha. Representing about a Knoxville. You stay crazy, Cleveland. No, you know, Chi-Town, the deep boys. To the next one, baby. Keeping it I'm mad. You know, ATL for your boy. Got love for you Cali boys too. All day, every day. Texas, it's my mission. NY, to say what I say. St. Louis, holla at you. Midwest, down south, holla at you. Up north, out west.
Are you gonna listen to the move?
Since 09.
Yeah, I'll be back to get at that though.
Check this. I'm at the motherfucking house last night. Guess what the fuck I see?
What you see?
Shamika, what's up?
Fuck you think you fucking with? It's Maxwell, bitch.
Fuck you in them shoes.
Bitch, I'm about to stomp you with these shoes.
I thought I told you to get a jump to Crazy D.
I did give it to Crazy D. You know D, you must have seen money in that. You know he used to produce those nudie DVDs.
Fuck you, thin man. I know you did it.
Don't let your mouth write a check, cause I will take it out on your ass. Damn, man. You serious?
I don't appreciate being roughed up by men, or should I say, male bitches.
Yeah, you gonna work out.
And we look for young ladies like you to host them.
I look like somebody that can host your videos.
That's right. So go change, cause we ain't got all day.
Get off for her.
Really good, though. I'm doing that bullshit.
Crazy. What the hell? How you in my room?
At the very same time that America refused to give the Negro any land, through an act of Congress, our government was giving away millions of acres of land in the West and the Midwest, which meant that it was willing to undergird its white peasants from Europe with an economic floor. But not only did they give the land, they built land-grant colleges with government money to teach them how to farm. Not only that, they provided county agents to further their expertise in farming. Not only that, they provided low interest rates in order that they could mechanize their farms. Not only that, today many of these people are receiving millions of dollars in federal subsidies not to farm, and they are the very people telling the black man that he ought to lift himself by his own bootstraps.
Here's the thing about your movie, why I made the curator's pick of the Hollywood Fringe Festival. Community, heart,
What's going on, people? Welcome to another great episode. It's Friday, but that's not the name of the show. Welcome to another great episode of hashtag ObservationTFR by Crazy D. That's Observations by Crazy D with my special guest host, my sister Tanya M. Congress. Let's bring you up. Let's get it on and going, get it on and popping, get it crackulating. How is your morning? How is your afternoon? Where you're at?
Actually, it started out pretty good today. My rest, I haven't had a steady sleep pattern in years, so I just gave up on that. But I did have enough rest last night where I feel good this morning. And I'm sitting here, it's a sunshiny day outside, so I'm looking at the sun out there, which does wonders for my mood. And I have a big bowl of a fruit mixture here. In this bowl, I have ginger, I have apples, I have kiwi, and I cannot not get this right, and I have frozen mango. So that's what we got going on today. And then my tea, it is a mixture of hibiscus flower, horsetail, hawthorn berries, and lasso with a little bit of stevia and the oil of oregano I have in there. I'm getting used to that. I'm up to 2 drops now, and I'll get to the 3 eventually that they say you should have per day. But I'm doing good, ready to go, ready to get this show on the road. How you doing?
Doing as well as can be expected under the circumstances. We are in COVID-19 still, uncertain about if we're going to be shut down. The question is, not the question for the show, but just a question to think for yourself. Would you be able to survive another shutdown? I mean, like totally shut down, total shutdown. Would you be able to survive it? Well, looks like we're headed in that direction. So first of all, let's give dropouts to all of the people who are watching us on Periscope, on Vimeo, and on the Film Review Live channel on YouTube. Make sure you go to YouTube, go to the Film Review Live channel. We're right there. Go there, smash subscribe, smash like button, tag your people, share it, let people know that we are on, because we have some information that we are disseminating today. As usual, what is the topic for today? What is the topic for today? They've cast a demonic spell, and we're let me bring this up bigger. What is the title of the show? Let me bring it bigger, because I had to do an abbreviation on the ad itself. They've cast a demonic spell, and we're, quote unquote, free will to follow it. They've cast a demonic spell, and we are, quote unquote, free will to follow it. That is the name of the show. This is the title of the show today. So let's read the description and let's get this underway. All right. Let me bring you back here. What some fear have been used to create moves which make less than movements. What some fear has been used to create moves which make less than movements, but conjuring of images past more than not has caused many to move against best interests. A demonic spell is cast upon the world, but to especially the American black, who can neither seem to get over it, under it, or around it, to truly be able to discuss sanely what reparations, restorative justice is necessary to make us whole. So we argue against and rally for Caucasians instead of arguing for and rallying for American Black Foundation. Let's discuss. The phone lines are open. 213-943-3358. 213-943-3358. Make sure you smash the share button, the like button. We are getting into this today. They've cast a demonic spell and we're to follow it. Shorthand, right? So let's look at this real quick. Let's look at some memes real quick this morning. Let's start out. Let's start out with Snoopy. This is always a good one to start out with. Dear 2020, first of all, I would like to let you know I'm typing this with my middle finger. Dear 2020, first of all, I would like to let you know I'm typing this with my middle finger. Right? I thought that's a good way to warm up. Smash the share button, smash the like button. We are getting ready to hit the pedal to the metal. All right. Here's another meme that I saw that I thought was apropos to what is happening. Make sure you smash the like button. Here we go. How to shape public opinion. How to shape public opinion. Fear, intimidation, distraction, divide, and conquer. How to shape public opinion. Fear, intimidation, distract, divide. Fear, intimidation, distract, divide. Fear, intimidation, distract, divide. Fear, intimidation, distract, divide. Isn't that so? Isn't that what we've seen? Isn't that what we've seen? Okay, so I thought that was pretty good. All right. Here's another that is very apropos to what's happening. Smash the share button, smash the like button. We're getting ready to take this on the road, right? We're getting ready to take this on the road, take it someplace, right? It's media. You only see what they want you to see. Remember that. It's media. You only see what they want you to see. Remember that. It's media, right? Okay, let's go. Bring this down here. Next one up. All right. Now, we've laid out all of that, right? How do they shape public opinion? We've laid all that out. So let's look at this next meme. Let's look at people's thought process due to fear, intimidation, distraction, and division. Black people have been a fence for Dixiecrats in every swing state. The people who built America continue to save its soul. I've seen on the ground, and we will win. PAGA, Arizona, Nevada, North Carolina. We owe us. I don't know if they mean we owe us or we owe the US of A. I really didn't figure that out. But remember, these are thoughts from fear, intimidation, distraction, and division, right? Distraction should be subtraction. But anyway, okay, so here's another one. This one is from Boyce Watkins, right? This is a response to fear, intimidation, distraction, and division. I saw a black man bragging about how black people helped save democracy. Honestly, I thought if we keep saving America and America won't even consider paying #reparations, that makes us incredibly stupid. I saw a black man bragging about how black people helped save democracy. Honestly, I thought if we keep saving America and America won't even consider paying reparations, that makes us indubitably, I'm throwing that word in there, stupid. What would you like to say to that as we get started? Smash the share button, smash the like button. We're taking it on a special journey. Let people tag people in here, let people know, because we are taking you someplace today on this Friday morning, Friday afternoon. Here we go.
I am in total agreement with this meme, and you can tell that by I was saying yesterday how there are consistent themes in people's mindset that touches everything about their life across the board. And we were talking about some types of investment and stuff like that. And I have been interacting with people and telling them, sharing with them a few things about some investing so that what you do have, you can make it grow, because you're not going to be able to count on your 401k. This country has demonstrated that they pull rabbits out of hats. They have demonstrated that. So why would you depend on anything that was put in place by an establishment that rips the carpet under folk every day? They change stuff every day and just change the game. And basically, no matter how much fluff they put around their explanations, it's basically saying, oh, well, that's the translation. Oh, well, you just got to deal with it. There's nothing you can do about it. So you have to take the power of growth in your finances, power of what you're going to leave your generation after you. You have to take that power back, but you can't take it back doing things within the framework of this system. Even though some opportunities are still within the framework of the system, you have to have some wisdom to know what to pursue and what not to pursue. So you can tell the same ones that are not concerned with growing money and investing and trying to establish wealth that they can pass along are the same ones that don't care that America are not paying reparations. They believe if they just get out and work hard and do that, what they have is what they have. That is their allotment. That is the extent of what they're going to make. And if it's not a get rich quick scheme where I can get $100,000 in 2 days, which is ridiculous, even in the land of investment, that turnover doesn't happen that quickly. You have to plant a seed and allow it to grow. So, you know, those same people, that same mindset are the same people who keep on bailing, talking about save democracy, and are not even considering that America won't consider paying reparations. That's because you don't have any vision, and so you're not going to go after any money because you don't have any vision. You don't have nothing that you would want to do with it. You don't have anything. You don't have any gifts. Your gifts are hobbies. Your gifts are not, you're not considering your gifts to be something that could to earn you income. That's why you have gifts and talents for your income, but you're not considering that. So those are just hobbies to you. And you all right with going to Michael's and getting the stuff to make a necklace or a bracelet or whatever. You content with that. You don't even sell them. You just go make them. So you know, well, I'll take yours. I got plenty of vision. I have plenty of vision, and I'll take yours. If you don't want it, I'll take yours. Thank you.
All right. So we're talking about fear, intimidation, distraction, and division. And so this is a meme that I saw. I thought it was interesting. Uninstalling Donald Trump. Please be patient. Your country will be restored soon. Whenever people ask taking the country back and doing all that, I was asking when the Tea Party was in place and I was taking a few classes. And a woman stood up and said she had been reading the Constitution with her boys or whatever. And I was like, well, you should have been read the Constitution because you were in your 50s. She said she was reading and they needed to take the country back. So I just asked a question like, who are we taking the country back from? Classroom full. Crickets. Makes no sense. But anyway, let's move forward. So remember, fear, intimidation, distraction, division. All right. So this one was an interesting meme. They lied about tobacco. They lied about asbestos. They lied about mercury fillings. They lied about opiates. They're lying about the safety of vaccines. They lie about aluminum and deodorants. They lied about the cancer-causing talc in hygiene products. They lied about hormone replacement therapy. They lied about lead in paint. They lied about fluoride in the drinking water and toothpaste. They lied about saturated fats. They lied about raw milk. They lied about pesticides, GMOs, and glyphosate. They lied about natural medicines and natural cures. They lied about global warming / climate change. They lied about the health benefits of soy. They lied about sugar. Let me bring it back so I can read the rest. And artificial sweeteners. They lied about WMOs, weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. They're lying about cholesterol and statin drugs. They lie about chemotherapy and radiation, but they're telling you the truth now. Interesting meme. But they lied about all that, but they're telling you the truth now. Smash the share button, smash the like button. Remember, fear, intimidation, distraction, division. How to train or build a certain thought process, which would be considered a mindset. Here's another. This one comes from a person that I, respect in the game, in the DJ game. This comes from the DJ Cochise. He's in Atlanta, right? And you can tell by this meme which side of the coin he falls on. I'm watching Fox News, and they are all complaining, whining, and moaning now. I'm watching Fox News, And they are all complaining, whining, and moaning now. He. Remember, fear, intimidation, distraction, division. Remember that. Okay. Here's one from halfway around the world. Russia. Vladimir Putin, who is suffering from serious illness, can resign at the behest of his girlfriend. Russia. Vladimir Putin, who is suffering from serious illness, can resign at the behest of his girlfriend. First of all, can he, or he's thinking about resigning? The can is the wrong word to put there, right? But, you know, and then someone wrote, that's funny that he would do that at this time. Like, Biden getting in there was going to scare him. How people believe what propaganda people weave. But anyway, this one comes from Boyce Watkins. And this is where the rubber hits the road today. Congrats to all black people who chose not to give up your vote for free. You have already won this election. I'm proud of you. Congratulations to all black people who chose not to give up your vote for free. You have already won this election. I'm proud of you. Now, this right here is a question, and this is a question that you really have to ask yourself. You really have to ask yourself this question as an American black person. You have to ask yourself this question, really. And I want to ask this question to you, Tanya. I'm black and I do not eat blank. Finish the sentence. I'm black and I do not eat blank. Finish the sentence. So what would you finish the sentence with?
Pork. I'm black and I do not eat pork.
That is a great answer. Ding, 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 ding. That is good. And you know, one of the parts of the rooter to the tutor, where I don't eat pork, beef, none of that. But there's a part to the rooter, from the rooter to the tutor, that's in the middle. It's called the intestines, the intestines. Chitlins. When they come out the tub, they smell like shit. When you cook them, after you clean them, they smell like shit. And people eat this. You know what? I'm black and I do not eat shat. I do not eat shat. I'm black. I do not eat shat. Which means that I am not easily taken in by the spell that has been cast upon us. We've got some definitions. Smash the share button, smash the like button. We're getting ready to hit the road now. It's going to be a bumpy ride. Put on your safety belts. Put on your safety belts because it's going to be a bumpy ride. 213-943-3358. 213-943-3358. Make sure you leave your comments in the comments and we will read them off on YouTube and on any other platform, right? So here we go. Freedom of speech in the House, Part 5. They've cast a demonic spell and we're in quote unquote free will to follow it. So what is a, let me read, I can't even read. incantation. What is an incantation? Right? And tell me if you have not been bombarded with an incantation. An incantation is first a noun, a use of spells or verbal charms, spoken or sung as part of a ritual of magic. Also, a written or recited formula of words designed to produce a particular effect. Incantation, we're dealing with the latter. Also, a written or recited formula of words designed to produce a particular effect. Now, what do we mean by they've cast a demonic spell and we're to follow it? What do we mean by that? We mean that there has, for a steady 3 years and a quarter of a year, there has been a spell, an incantation woven through the media about a certain person to bring about a particular effect. Also, to sing, to chant, to enchant, right? So, a written or recited formula of words designed to produce a particular effect. What type of effect have we been seeing during this election cycle? What have you been charmed? What have you been cast in? What spell have you been cast in that you do not even know that you are in a spell? What would you like to say to that?
You know, whenever you guys have heard me say this before, that death and life is in the power of the tongue. It's interesting that scripture mentions death first being in the power of the tongue. It's the negative that goes first. Why? Because the scripture also says that the tongue is the littlest member of the body, yet it stirs up the most iniquity. It says that it's set on the fires of hell. That's the tongue. Because very few people are disciplined in their speech. Very few people just pop off. They say anything. They say the first thing that comes to mind. You know, I'm going to speak my mind. Well, the scripture says that it is a fool that utters their whole mind. You uttering your whole mind. So a lot of you, that's what you've been doing. You've been uttering your whole mind, which lets me know how much you didn't know. You uttering your whole mind about a particular individual and how that person was racist, but did you get the other side to know that that person is racist too? Did you even look that up, or what are you expecting? What are you expecting to happen? What are you expecting to happen based on past history? What do you expect to happen? They have no incentive on doing anything for you because you are a free lay. They have no incentive to bring you the ring because you lay for free. There's no incentive. So there's no standard. You haven't set any bars. You haven't raised any standards. I'm going to vote like I did the other day. I'm going to vote just as goofy as all outdoors. I'm going to vote. You got your pin on, you got your sticker on. I voted today. Or I voted early. I am part of positive change, but you haven't done the research. So you're going to be sitting up there having been part of a positive change. So you thought, having voted and been goofy and dancing and singing ahead of time, and then you're going to look up and you're going to be right back where you've been and where we've been the last 200 some years, of having made that decision.
You are cast with in a spell. You have been cast inside of an incantation and you do not know it. You have been within the echo chamber, and the echo chamber has echoed off these disparaging thoughts about a person, and it has enchanted you to the point that you never even wanted to talk about things that would help you. You just wanted to help the team. However, anyone who is looking at this with a rational mind can definitely see that the election was stolen on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. That the election has been stolen. Now, I don't have any dog in the hunt either way, so I guess I can be objective and less subjective. Because my thing is American black politics and nothing else. If it's not helping me, I look at policy. So let's keep going on. Quote unquote, black magic has traditionally referred to the use of supernatural powers or magic for evil and selfish purposes. I left the AT out. What it respect to the in respect to the left hand path and right hand path, black magic is the malicious left-handed counterpoint of the benevolent white magic. So the Democrat Party is the left and the Republican Party is the right. Except the definition is reversed. We are subject to white magic, conjurings, incantations, and it takes black magic on the right hand of God to create what evil white magic has caused, to correct what evil white magic has caused. So in other words, when we're looking at definition and what people are saying to us, black magic is always Caucasians using so-called black magic, but they're really practicing white magic, and it is black magic actually that corrects the evil that white magic does. What we are in is in an incantation from white magic that has made you move in a crazy, non-determining way. It's not self-determination, it is opposite of self-determination. All right. So now, how we know that we are in a situation where there has been an incantation? Smash the share button, smash the like button, because we're getting ready to go through to one of my edits. That's right, one of the edits, one of the packages put together by Crazy D. We're getting ready to go into it, right? This package has to do with an appearance that I did on MC Chill's Chill Talk, right? And how I know that there it has been an incantation cast, and how an incantation works again by definition is it's chanted, it's repeated, it's put into an echo chamber, it's echoing around, you're picking it up. You will vote against your best interest. You will not look at policy. You will not say anything but follow the company line. They've cast a demonic spell and we're to follow it. We are in quote unquote free will to follow it. In our free will, we believe that we have followed the right path but there has been a demonic spell, an incantation, a chant, a constant rhythm, a constant beat being repeated over again, over and over again, over and over again, to when it comes down to people asking simple questions. People cannot answer why they don't like the person. They just say, well, he said a lot of things. And this is an example. Again, I was on Chill Talk a couple of months ago, and they brought me in and they were having a discussion on Trump. And it was the regular negative affair. Now remember, my thing is not about Trump. My thing is not about Biden. My thing is about American blacks and the policies that help American blacks. It's not what a person says, but it's what a person does. Because if you keep listening to what a person says, they could be spelling a demonic spell through words, an incantation, and you keep listening, and you just pretty much become a drone walking. You get on that hamster wheel. You're in a mindset, and you don't even know why you're doing it, instead of having a mind state where you get the facts, catch, analyze, store, and shoot when necessary. So here's the appearance. So listen closely to the discussion. It's very important. And if you fall on one of these sides, you have to ask yourself why, and then you will say, I have a spell upon me. An incantation, a rhythmic beat, a continuous chant of something that I took in, and it took over my soul. So let's listen to the conversation here, and we're going to pause in between to give context. Here we go. I have a question. Let's go back, because I watched the debate yesterday. So I have some questions, right? And so, I have some. For me, I'm not voting for racist 1. I'm not voting for racist 2. So we're just going to get that out the way. First of all, okay. June 25th, 2016, Donald Trump comes down the escalator at Trump Tower. He has all of the people who they hired as extras to be his fan base, right? What did Donald Trump actually say about American black people? What did he actually say about us coming down that escalator that day, June 25th, 2016? What did he actually say?
Okay.
He didn't say. It's so many sound bites on him. I can't even pinpoint.
No. When he came down the escalator that day.
Was this on The Simpsons or this? No, go ahead. No.
That's a good one. No, seriously though.
Yeah.
What did he say? Does anyone remember what he said when he came down the escalator that day, 2016, that activated American black people to then call him racist and take the side of the Democrats that were against him, in my opinion, because he knew where the bones are buried, because he funded a lot of the Democrat things. So what did he actually say about us?
I think you have to tell us, bro.
I don't recall.
No, I don't. The only thing that I recall significant about prior to was when he said that he could stand on was it Fifth Avenue,
shoot somebody, yeah,
and shoot somebody and still get elected.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't talking about black people then.
No, that's what I said. That's the thing that I remember from around that time.
From before he got elected.
Mm-hmm.
Let's pause that for a minute. Now, June 25th, 2016, Donald Trump comes down the escalator, and then all American black people just went up in arms. Oh, he's racist. How you know that it is an incantation on you, that it is a spell on you, is you don't even remember what the man said. We're gonna go through this. You don't even remember what the man said, but what you do remember is, oh, he's a bad man. Oh, he's a narcissist. Oh, he's this and that. But who chanted that to you? Who cast a demonic spell on you? Who cast a demonic spell on you? Who created the incantation and they kept pumping it to you on every station, on every channel? They kept pumping it to you, but you can't remember one thing the man said when he came down the elevator on June 25th, 2016. But here I am. I come and say exactly what he said. Let's continue. This is very important. Smash the share button, smash the like button, because it appears that the opportunity that American black people had has now slipped away, and now it's going to go back into the hands of a segregationist, and the segregationist is going to finish his job, but you're still in your spell. You're still in the incantation because they're still pumping it through to you. It doesn't matter who's pumping it to you. If it's black ones or white ones, and I could say that the black ones, a lot of them are immigrants, and how could they talking about what racism is in this country when they not part of the lineage? So they should shut up, because people, if they're first and second generation, their people came in and profited off of the set-asides to be able to be here. They went to the best colleges. That the set-asides that was supposed to go to us then went to minorities and immigrants. But you're still you're still affected by this incantation, and we're trying to get you from out of the incantation. You have to listen. You have to hear. How come? You need to ask yourself, if Crazy D, you are sure are representing your name. You sure are crazy. Well, you should ask yourself, how come you can't remember what the man said exactly that would have affected you? You can't remember what he said, but he's a bad man. He's a bad man to you, but what did he say specifically about you? So I just ask questions, Everybody talking about they woke, but you got an incantation, a demonic spell placed on you, and you don't even know. You can't even answer the questions, and it's no aspersion on these people. These are good people. They're out there fighting the power they believe, and they do it, but they've got a spell placed on you. It's like that song. I place a spell on you because you're mine. The Democrats placed a spell on you because you are still their property. Let's continue on. It's an incantation. Look up the definition. We gave you the definition of incantation. Let's keep watching now. As I ask questions, I'm trying to see what's so bad about this man. Can you tell me what's so bad about this man that's so bad than any other man? And I will say it again, we had no dog in this fight. The only dog that I would have had in the fight would have been in another position, which is American black. That's all I care about. Let's continue. So when he came down the escalator on June 25th, he said about illegal immigrants. He said, coming across the border, some of them are good people. He always prefaces, some of them are good people. But he said, many of them are bringing the drugs. They're bringing crime. And all of a sudden, I just noticed from out of nowhere, it seemed like black people, I ask this question all the time. I ask this question on my show when people call up to the show. And people, I say, what did he actually say about us? and they say, well, he was talking about immigrants. I say, are American black people immigrants, or are we American citizens of the United States of America? So what he said about immigrants, illegal immigrants coming across the border have to do with American black people? And my answer is always, when people say, well, nothing. Exactly.
Right.
Had nothing to do with American black people. So why did American black people all of a sudden jump up in arms like he said something about us? Now, let's talk. The person says, right. That's popping the person from out of the incantation for just a split second. Right. You see, because the incantation was beginning to break. But listen to the conversation. So, and like I said, there's no aspersion on people, but incantations, we gave a definition. This is a demonic spell placed on a group of people to keep control of a group of people. And the people don't even know why they do what they do. Oh, stay tuned.
Exactly.
There is a mail carrier in Nevada that is going to lose his job. Well, maybe not, because we are in this incantation, but he's going to lose that. They don't even know why they're doing what they're doing, but they're doing it. And if a cheat can happen, if a Jim Crow stymie action can be done on a Caucasian in the highest office, what are they going to be able to do to you, bringing in a segregationist and then using those Jim Crow tactics that black people for the longest time have never been able to break? Those stymies, to stymie you. So let's continue. So this is what this is about. This is about American blacks. It's not about Biden. It's not about Trump. But it's about you're dealing with the people who have traditionally stymied you. And you let this incantation work on you. Oh, but it's not your fault. It's not your fault. But it's a demonic spell that you have to come from out of, right? So let's continue on and see what else we see here. About Africa for a second. Different countries in Africa. It's a third world continent that has all the riches, but it seems like the Africans in the different tribes and whatever, they cannot control. Within the 54 countries, they can't control their raw resources, right? So now the Chinese are setting up armies in there. Wherever the army is, that's their country. That's their nation. If an army is being set up, then that's their land. Because why would an army be set up? So that's the worst colonization I've seen of Africa since I read about it in the book. Now you got the 5'4" dudes over there telling the Africans what to do with their raw resources, their borders, their waterways, their ports, their land. So when Donald Trump said, can we curse on here, Chill? No, we can't.
No, we're not gonna do that.
Okay, right. With snit hole countries, I'm gonna change it up. When he said snit hole countries, what did that have to do with American black people?
Well, hold on. You know, I think I muted.
No, I can hear you.
I muted Daryl by accident. Okay.
I mean, what does that have to do with? There's a long pause. What does that have to do with American black people? You've got a spell placed on you. And I see people coming in and out of the broadcast, like my sister said. They're coming in and out because they hear something. They say, I got a spell on me. Fuck you. That's part of the spell. If you say, and I'm about American black people, I'm about you. Because me, we, me. If I'm saying something and you don't necessarily like what I'm saying, that doesn't make it not true. That just says that you don't like what I'm saying because you're under this spell. Smash the share button, smash the like button. We are going someplace that is very psychologically bumpy. It's going to be bumpy for us today. It's going to be bumpy, right? So there is a pause. What does African third world countries, the 54 countries, what does that have to do with American black people? There is a silence there. Let's continue on. Where it was conflated in the media. This is what they need to know. It was conflation, and we've talked about conflation, and we do not conflate on this show. We don't mix this with this and make this. No, we're not doing that. We're not Yakub. We're not gonna mix this and make a new. No. They conflated. They said, "Oh, he's talking about Africa. Oh, he's talking about black people in America," and that was how it was conflated in the media. And that was a spell. That was an incantation that worked on you. I got to wake you up because, like Q-Tip said in Tribe Called Quest, the job of the resurrector is to wake up the dead. The job of the resurrector is to wake up the dead. You have to come from up off of under this incantation, this demonic spell that has you doing things that you don't even know why. When you ask, why did I do that? I don't know, but he's just a bad man. That's a incantation. That's the spell on you. You don't know why, but he's a bad man. Let's continue. American black people.
It had nothing to do with American black people.
Right. Okay. So I'm just going through the line of things, right? I'm just going through the line of things of what we see, because we watch a lot of TV because we review and talk about things so that people can have be really knowledgeable about what they're saying, right? So that has nothing to do. Now, if I'm over there, like Dr. Moonbi, she has a show that comes on. She's in Kenya, but she covers all 54 states of Africa. She's there on the ground. And she talked about last year, Nigeria had rolling outages of electricity. I'm not talking about the rural, because rural really doesn't have electricity. We're talking about the city. And she played a videotape where the woman was like, what? Why? We're in Nigeria. All of this corruption, how come we don't have electricity? I don't want to be in a place. I had a buddy that graduated from Trinity High School with me. And every time the South gets the hurricanes, he goes down there and he turns the grid. He does high tension lines, and he basically turns the electricity back on. I don't want to live anywhere where there's rolling outages. I live in a first world nation. So if I was over there, I would say the same thing. If I can't build a hotel over there, if I'm a mogul or I'm a hotel a person that builds hotels, I would say the same thing. They are snit old countries because there's nothing that I can do over there. What does that have to do with American black people? Nothing. Now, I heard you reference about the video about when he was talking about what happened in Charlottesville, right? Now the media.
Hey, now D, I do want to make this be your last point because we want to get to Daryl. But go ahead, keep rocking though, bro.
Okay. So the Charlottesville situation, the media cut that video wrong. All you gotta do is go to YouTube and get the full thing. Donald Trump says, not talking about the nationalist, they chop it right there and they make him say something that he didn't say. He says, the nationalists, not talking about them, they are bad people and they have to be handled. That's what he said for what they did wrong. He says that. They cut that in the media wrong. I just want people to have the true knowledge of what's going on, because I'm not voting for racist 1 or racist 2. And then when you come back to me, I'm going to break down both why. But he goes on to say, but there are good people on both sides, and the way that the media treated the people who were just protesting on both sides. On the one side that is, I guess you would say, the conservative, they did them wrong. But on the other side, which is now what we're seeing in the streets now, he says, when you see them and they're dressed in black and they have their helmets and the baseball bats, but the media cut that out. And he was talking about the anarchists that we see in the streets today. And the Democrats are, it appears to me, just looking at it, that they are pro-anarchists, and they have created a monster that they are not going to be able to turn off. And we're looking at the beginning of a civil war. So let's pause that right there, right? Right there, when you hear that you can go see the real speech. Now remember, they cut that and said that Donald Trump is a racist and he believes in the KKK, he believes in the Proud Boys, he believes in the accelerationists. And when you see the video, there's video and video after video where he says that he has denounced it. He said that they needed to be handled in that very video. Once you hear that, if you're not under a spell, you should be able to come out and say, oh, well, let me go see that. Oh, the media is fooling me. But the media has chanted this incantation for 3.25 years, and you are in it. And once a person says that this is the way it is, and you can go see the video. And we have shown the video on both of these shows. And so that should be out your mind that that's the way that that is, because they have, because we have shown you the videotape. You can go see many different instances where the man says it. And we talked about this on the show a few weeks back, that his father used to seem disappointed in his son. And he said at 5 years old, he denounced that. How much of it, you have to put context clues together. How much of his father being estranged from him and sending him off to military school was because he turned against racism and he didn't want to do that, right? He didn't want to do that. There's levels of racism. There's levels, there's prejudice, bigotry, right? Racism, white supremacy, right? There's different levels to this game, right? It's different levels to this, to the business of this. And we talked about the various different types of racists. You got to go back and watch that show, right? There's different levels to this. Now, if you have a group of people that you are renting to and they say, we don't want no you got to go with what you say, or those high-priced clients are going to move someplace else. Right? So they're going to find a way, and I will take the lawsuit, but I'm not expunging him or excusing him of anything of that. Boom. I'm just saying that when you hear the facts, and you can go listen to the facts. If you cannot come from out of what you think, that you thought, that you knew, as they're trying to clip us now, then you are under a spell. You are under a demonic spell. You are under an incantation, and you don't even know it because you can't even shake yourself of it. What you got to say to that?
That's exactly what's happening. And it's been so subtle because the strategy was over time. And this is something that was planned from the time that Donald Trump got in office, because they didn't want him in there. The Dems didn't, definitely. They wanted child participant Hillary Clinton to be in there. You notice I said participant, because we don't know exactly what she participated in, but she's a participant though. She's on the rolls. She's on the books. So they didn't want him in there. So they immediately had to devise a plan, and they tried everything throughout the 4 years, and everything they tried flopped. He could have just used that as his campaign. He could have went down a list of every investigation and how they failed, and then at the end put re-elect Donald Trump and then run the film, all the clips of the failures and then have him with that silly look on his face and a shrug like, well, why not? That should have been the campaign commercial, because they basically ran the campaign for him with all of that stupidity that they used the taxpayers' dollars to do. But yes, a spell, an incantation, and you are exactly right. When I'm speaking with a person and I'm giving them clear, concise information, I'm telling them where they can go fact check me. And I'm looking them dead in the eye and I'm speaking with such a conviction, they know it has to be true. See, scammers do that too, but there's a difference between when you're speaking with somebody that's speaking, you have to be connected with God to recognize godly authority and godly insight. And when I'm speaking to a person about something, I'm not talking and blowing smoke out of my behind. I'm telling you what it is. You can count on it. And when you got a person who they'll sit there and look at you with that blank stare, because they under a spell. They're looking at you with that blank stare, and their next response, their next words is as if they haven't heard a word you said. They haven't heard a word that you said. They were unable to grasp. They haven't even heard it. It went through their ear gate. They heard, but they weren't listening. They heard you talking, but they weren't listening. There wasn't nobody home upstairs while you were talking. It was nothing home there. When I see that, I know that people are under a spell. And the majority of people, not just in this country, but across the world, are under a spell. They're under a spell in different things. There's different things on the buffet. People are under a spell in religion. They're under a spell in politics. They're under a spell in family upbringing. They're under spells, things that have been spoken over and over and over and over again. And when you have that repetitiveness, you go into a trance. And then from the trance, you no longer have a defense. Once you go into a trance, there's no defense about what's going in your ear gate and going to your eye gate. So then you begin to be programmed from that channel stuff that's being spoken. Now you're programmed. Now you're expecting and in alignment with a certain type of speech. That is what you have aligned yourself to. That is what you have not only aligned yourself to, this is what you have embraced. And yet you can't, when somebody comes and initiates a conversation with you, you can't give a reasonable answer as to why you have adapted this mindset. That's a spell. And when you can hear this, somebody tell you you're under a spell, and we're telling you how you're under a spell, and the best thing you can do is get offended and pop out of the broadcast. Because if you weren't under a spell, you wouldn't be offended. That's the proof. You're proving it to yourself. If you're not under a spell, you would not be offended when we describe what being under a spell is.
Okay. So let's look at this real quick. Let's bring this up. Now, this is Instagram, people. You know, Instagram was by the Instagram people. It was strong-armed by a certain group of people who own a certain person who owns Facebook. As the story went, he wouldn't let them leave the compound until they signed over Instagram. And we've talked about Instagram. It used to be the Wild Wild West. Okay. So how you connect to people is through hashtags. Hashtags on everything, right? Hashtags build your clientele. That's what I want to say. That's how this is what. That's the algorithm, actually. Everything is hashtags, right? So hashtag ObservationTFR, hashtag TFR Podcast Live. Now, what happens when the social media site turns the hashtags off? They are practicing then censorship. Now, real low is real small writing, but I made it bigger. Now, right above here, it's 9 entries. Usually it's 9 entries of the latest, most popular thing, and then you scroll down a little bit more, then they show you the stuff that is not as popular but has populated under that particular hashtag, right, on Instagram, right? This is what Instagram, Facebook has done. Recent posts from all hashtags are temporarily hidden to help prevent the spread of possible false information and harmful content related to the election. Recent posts from all hashtags are temporarily hidden to help prevent the spread of possible false information and harmful content related to the election. This is censorship. If you are on the internet, if you are on the interweb and you are using the platform to convey your freedom of speech, this is episode 5. That's why we are in freedom, D-U-M-B, in the house. Because every time you use one of these platforms, they make you feel that you have freedom, F-R-E-E-D-O-M, of speech, but really you're in freedom, F-R-E-E-D-U-M-B, of speech, in the house. What's going on, Craig Baxter? What's going on with you? That's right, the movie Spell is dope. We reviewed that last week. Listen, this is an incantation, and to emphasize and to put the emphasis and the strength behind it, they're doing certain things to keep people from being able to break the demonic spell on the people by locking down your ability to be free to move about the internet and express and push your signal through hashtags. And that's all of the platforms now. That's all of the platforms now. If you don't have an established hashtag, this is all of the platforms now. Whereas hashtags is the currency that makes what you post move globally around the world. And when they shut this down, how far is this gonna go? We're in an incantation, we're in a spell. How far is this gonna go? Is this gonna go 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years of Biden? Oh, we don't like what you're saying about Biden, so we're going to keep the hashtag shut down. This is censorship. This is censorship, and it is a way to keep the incantation from being dispelled. The incantation from being dispelled by waking the people up. Smash the share button, smash the like button. We are taking you somewhere today. 213-943-3358. This is a spell, a demonic spell. It's an incantation. Watch this. I feel sorry for this. This is package 2. You know, Crazy D again, editing up. And I know that you don't watch this channel because you're in the echo chamber. Listen. The first, my wife and I were MSNBC watchers. We loved the way Rachel could take a topic and break it down so analytically and then bring the guest in and then go to the next topic. We used to love that. But then all of a sudden, once Trump got into office, it was a steady breakfast, lunch, and dinner. The top of her show, the middle of her show, the end of her show. Trump, anti-Trump, Trump, Trump, anti-Trump, anti-Trump, anti-Trump. It's like, what happened to telling the various stories, the various information putting information, disseminating information out to people. It just turned to all anti-Trump, make him a one-term president. We can tell by the returns that Trump was not a one-term president, that he actually won the election. Sorry, it's a cheat, but you're under this incantation and you believe that this happened. Plus, the different stations are constantly in this echo chamber and they keep on pumping this incantation to you, this demonic spell. Now, we said, you know what? We need to find another channel. We went to CNN for a while. Too much talking head. It was really ignorant. It took a while to get used to CNN because there was a lot of talking head. It wasn't like Crossfire back in the day, right? So we had to get used to it. I say, this is a lot of nonsense, right? A lot of people arguing with each other. So then we held our nose and said, well, let's click over to Fox to see what Fox is talking over. We go over to Fox. Fox is having coherent conversations between both sides. No echo chamber, no yelling, just breaking down the policy. No policy on MSNBC, no policy on CNN, just straight anti-Trump. We went over here to get the policy, right? And if you're in those echo chambers, you don't see that this black man, this American black man who has a good job at the USPS, has a pension, has insurance, has dental, has health care, has retirement pension, is willing, because he, in our opinion, is under a spell. You wouldn't even hear this story that this actually happened if you're not out of the echo chamber that is bringing you these incantations, these demonic spells, and you don't know why you're doing, and he doesn't know why he's doing what he's doing. Listen to this. I feel sorry for him. And then after this, it's in Detroit where they're throwing out the poll observers. Supposed to be poll observers there. Then we go to PA where they won't even, they go to PA where they won't even let the poll observer in. These are black people who are on film, and you know a lot of black people when they're doing dirt don't want to be on film, but they're in this, in my opinion, incantation, this spell, this demonic spell. And listen to what this guy is going to give dude blank ballots that haven't been filled out, that maybe got returned. He's going to give him a handful so he can fill them out, so that he can say, so he can fill them out for, Biden. Listen. Why is he doing this? Is he under a spell?
Yeah, where can I find a handful of them?
I don't know, man. Hey, I'm almost finished with the boxes today.
All right, brother.
Hey, not a problem, man. I'm gonna see if I can get you some like a little nice little handful.
Oh,
what's your unit number?
You gonna get a handful? 322. You gonna get a handful?
I'll probably put, I don't know, maybe. If it's in there, I ain't do it.
And you'll put some in there for me.
I might, man.
All right, brother.
See what I can do.
You're not letting me.
This is voter fraud. This is mail fraud. You're going to get 10 to 15 for the mail fraud. You're going to get 15 to 25 for the voter fraud. Hopefully, the sentences run concurrently and not consecutively. This man that is been secretly taped is under such, in my opinion, under such a spell that he is willing to give up his livelihood. He's got a good job. What has Donald Trump done to you? You work at the U.S. Postal Service, the United States Postal Service. You have a pension. You have eyeglass, dental, health care. You have vacation time. You have all this. And you make a great wage. What would make you want to give up everything but an incantation. You are under a demonic spell to do this. Right here, coming up now, is Philadelphia. Black people keeping a poll observer from coming in to see the votes. Can you trust the votes? Listen, it's not about Donald Trump. It is about American black people, because if they can do this Jim Crow stymie, you need to go talk to the older black people or older American black people and ask them about how white people using Jim Crow could stymie them, could stop them from their advance. You need to ask, because if they're able to do it to this man who is the most powerful man in the world, and he's Caucasian, and they've been trying to treat him like a since he got in there, and he has frauded them the whole way. But now here this is such an intricate, it's more intricate than the mafia having dead people vote for JFK. That's been proven to be true. But it's water under the bridge. So 50 years from now, they'll say, you know, there was voter irregularity, and yes, they were stuffing ballots to get Trump out of there. But you know what happens when stuff like that happens? America is never as good. When they thought that they would kill Abraham Lincoln, America went down the tubes. When they shot Kennedy, did what he did. He didn't want to go along and hold his bargain up with the mafia, as told by Giovanni. He was assassinated and the country went down. They thought that the Texas people thought that that America should be more into the Vietnam. You got to watch these documentaries. And so Johnson gets in there, and Vietnam turns into a HO. Because all these people thought they knew better than the people who were trying to help the country. You are under a spell that you have to come from off of under. You have been in that echo chamber, and they've been chanting, he's a bad man, he's a bad man, he's a bad man. He doesn't like black people. Oh, why doesn't he like black people? Oh, he talked about the illegals coming down the escalator. Are you an illegal or are you an American citizen? Okay, so black people outside of a Philadelphia polling station, they won't let the observer in, breaking the law. This is breaking voter law. That is 15. That is 10 to 15. What are people doing? Just observations. What are they doing?
Well, what? No. That's why I told you, call the police. Do it. If you legal, call the cops.
The city guy is in the bathroom. He'll be there. Call that number. Tell him to call somebody.
I have a citywide watcher certificate.
And it's not for this location.
No, it's not for this. It's not. Is this the city of Philadelphia? This is the city of Philadelphia. This is the city of Philadelphia. This is the city of Philadelphia. You wanted to talk. You wanted to talk outside. Let's talk. I have a line. I asked you to read the line.
Wait a minute now. Oh, wait a minute. He didn't want to be on camera. He said, let's talk outside. She said, he's not going to be on camera. Boy, niggas be running. Everybody want to be famous, but they be running from the camera. Y'all not ready, but y'all ready to get over there to the White House and get that minstrel show going. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You're ready to get that minstrel show, get them people over there dancing. We didn't talk about that already. You are not ready for prime time. They're going to put a minstrel. They're going to put they already got that demonic spell on you already, but they're going to put a minstrel spell on you, and all you're going to want to do is dance in front of Biden and rub his legs. That's all you're going to want to do. I mean, this is crazy. This is giving up livelihood. You're on film. That means that if they don't prosecute these people, then it's corruption.
Yes, yes.
If they don't prosecute these people for breaking the law, I'm sorry, American black people that are under this incantation. Maybe you shouldn't have been eating as much sugar as you've been eating so your memory would be long and you could extrapolate out. I am sorry. I'm not sorry for myself. I feel sorry for you because if they do not prosecute this, that means that you are not morally on the high ground. And that is corruption. And you are part of the corruption. Which means that because they're cheating the election, you didn't help them to get elected, so they don't owe you anything. You're going to be in there talking, dancing, doing the minstrel show, stepping, hey, how about doing this? Hey, all right, let's kick it down the road for 2 years. They'll come up in 2 years. Hey, we'll do something if you help Kamala get elected in the next 4 years. If Kennedy hadn't got his cap peeled, we wouldn't have had civil rights today because he would have kicked it down the road. Get me reelected and then get my brother Bobby elected, and then possibly we'll work on civil rights. We don't know what it was inside of Johnson that made him do that. Maybe he felt sorrowful about Kennedy. Maybe he said, hey, maybe Johnson was sick. And he knew he was sick and he wanted to leave something for his legacy. Or he wanted to do something that would keep you beholden. Cast a spell. It would keep you beholden.
Let me say.
Okay, go on. Wait. Here we go. Go ahead.
You know why that nothing is going to happen if it's not prosecuted? Because, well, it need to be prosecuted, else it's just obvious. If it's not prosecution, it's obvious. But here it is. They don't owe you anything because you participated in corruption. That's exactly what this country is notorious for doing. FBI, CIA, Secret Service. They're notorious for getting people involved in things to accomplish their purpose and then doubling back with a blackmail saying, well, we don't have to do this. You agreed to that. Because that chick, she's going a little bit too hard and a little bit too strong and a little bit too confident not to be being paid for her services. You understand? She feels safe in doing that. She's been told, because that's an official that came to that door and you're denying entry to the official and you are a poll worker and this is a poll observer, an official, and you're denying him entry, not having fear of anything. You went into a contractual agreement off the record and you getting some under the table payment for your services.
You know what? I don't think so. I think that she's under a spell. I really do. I think that she's volunteering and she believes that Donald Trump is the devil. You ask her why, she wouldn't know. They say, oh, he don't like black people. Why don't he like black people? Oh, he talked about the people coming down the escalator. Coming down the escalator, he didn't talk about you. He talked about the illegals that Biden is going to let in to take your jobs and take your get guaranteed job, guaranteed subsidized housing in the suburbs, guaranteed health care, no copay, TIN number, and to get a driver's license so they'll be able to vote. But there's something that I told them on that show. I told them on the Chill Talk show. I said, there's an article that came out that said the Mexicans and the Latinos are going to vote big for Trump. I say it right there. You can go right on to the Film Review Live channel and you can watch that. It's under Hip Hop Discussions, right? Just watch all of the hip hop discussions and it's right there. You can watch it. And I tell them that the article came out that they said they were going, there is no black and brown coalition. I live out here in Las Vegas. There is no such thing. And sure enough, they voted big for Trump. What are you doing? What are you doing? Because they have you under a spell. Let's continue.
Mindset is good in every ward and division in the city.
Now this is in Detroit. They actually escort the watchers, the vote watchers, out. They don't allow them to stay. This is, and it's film, and someone inside filmed it who thought it was a good thing. This is a spell. This is a demonic spell. All of those people, black, white, whatever they are subject to go to prison for voter fraud. And if they are not prosecuted, then it's corruption, and they don't owe you anything because you were in on the corruption. So why do they need to do anything good for you that's not corrupt but righteous? Because you were part of the corruption. Do you see what this is, people? And you're just sitting up there willy-nilly, not knowing, not anyway, continue.
We begin tonight at Fox News Alert. We do have breaking news out of Arizona. A batch of newly posted ballots from the liberal stronghold of Pima County are breaking for President Trump at a rate of almost 52%. That is huge news from a very liberal county. Over the past 24 hours, the president has picked off a little beyond that, over 24,000 votes. This margin, this trend continues. There's still almost 350,000 votes out there outstanding, which many experts are predicting that the president will continue to do well because a lot of those votes came in day of or the day before Election Day. And the president has a good shot, according to observers and people on the ground that I've been speaking to in Arizona, to overtake that state and win the state of Arizona. Any call of Arizona was premature, based on everybody that I've talked to that knows the numbers out there, which brings us to our top story tonight. Now, if you were watching almost any other so-called news network,
the person that was in the this is so sinister, and you can see it playing out. So anybody who is not within the spell, not within the conjuring, not within the incantation, who avoided it. I don't know how I avoided it. I'm just blessed. Thank you. I don't know how it happened, but anyone can see this. The other channels were not calling. They were relying on Fox News to call. We would switch over and they were talking all kinds of yibba jabba gibberish about what if. They were waiting for Fox to call. The man who is in the decision center is a Democrat, sorry. Anyone knows when it gets to the 80th percentile, they can project that such and such person won the presidency. This is totally different than they have ever done it. They are counting every single vote. Usually when it gets into the 90th, it's whoever gets the lead first going into the 80th and 90th percentile. They usually win the election. And then all the other ballots that came in, all that other stuff stops. Not this time. They went through every single one, and they were waiting on Fox News to call. This was planned. Just my observation, my opinion, just from many years of watching this, being out there registering people to vote, being in the politics. They planned this, and there is a split and a rift at Fox News. There are people who are still in support of Donald Trump, and there are people who aren't. And you can list, so it's not the same as it was, and it kind of picked up like maybe a year ago. They started saying some negative things about Trump. Usually they were all in, and there is a split now. It was purposefully done. All the other stations was waiting for Fox to call. Fox didn't call. The next thing you know, the elections were shut down at a certain time and said they would stop counting and they'd pick up counting tomorrow in the states where Trump was ahead. They called California. They called California right after it closed. Like, they didn't even count any votes over there. How do we know that he didn't take California? They never called California until after they done the East, the Mid, the Plains, the South. Then it comes to, but this is totally different, to give this man a psychological lead over Donald Trump, and then the rest could weave and work itself. And then they do something and they call Arizona before all the counties were even filled. This was a plan. And if you stand for this corruption, then you are part of the corruption, and they don't owe you anything because you're not on the moral high ground. You went along with it, but you don't know because you are in a spell. And for those who do know, who willfully do it, you don't think that you got anything coming. Let's continue with Hannity and Tucker Carlson. Now, no friendship with Hannity or Tucker Carlson, but they're just kicking fact. And that's it.
Work or a broadcast network other than Fox, you would not have seen any of that. And yet a blatant new contribution to all things Joe Biden and radical socialist, and an attempt to suppress information, just like, well, big tech institutions. The corrupt media mob, they cut away from the president speaking so that their own idiotic pundits could trash him. Wow. Take a look.
It's amazing how those mail-in ballots are so one-sided, too. I know that it's supposed to be to the advantage of the Democrats, but in all cases, they're so one-sided.
We're watching President Trump speaking live from the White House, and we have to interrupt here because the president has made a number of false statements.
Likewise in Georgia, I won by a lot.
And there, the President of the United States addressing the American people for the first time, claiming that if you count the legal votes, I easily win.
Pause that for a minute. That is no respect for the office, one. Number two, the reason why you didn't know, the reason why you don't know that 240,000 people were supposed to pass from COVID no matter what. If nothing was done, 2 million people could have died from COVID. But because of the 15 and 30 days restriction shutdown, in April, they came back and said, with the precautions, with what we're doing now and what we will continue to do with the PPE, PPO, and the social distancing and the 15 and 30-day quarantine and on, what we do, still 240,000 people will die no matter what we do. Is unfortunate. It's not even at 240,000 yet, but yet you got the media constantly sending you this echo chamber and sending you this information because they would cut away from the briefings and you would have to either turn to C-SPAN or you would have to turn to Fox News to see the full thing. They would just cut away just when the statistics and the analyzation would come up to tell you what was happening. They would cut away and start criticizing just like they did. They have put you in a demonic place. They have put you in a demonic place because they didn't like the man, but the man saved lives. And we're going to see if Biden is able to save lives the same way, or if they're going to be covering for him, because if you didn't know, his cognitive skills are gone. And you want to Mr. Magoo. Well, Mr. Magoo couldn't see, but he was pretty swift. You want something. You want some kind of person in there that's not, it's gonna be all kinds of wars. It's gonna be bombings over here again, terrorist attacks. They're gonna blow the peace thing. Did you know that Donald Trump was up for 2 Nobel Peace Prize for what he did in the Middle East, bringing peace? They're gonna blow all that to crap, and then they're gonna start bombing again. They're gonna come over here, say Great White Satan again, and blow it up because you as an American black person was in an incantation. And you should have been looking at your family. You should have been looking at your children. You should have been looking at your grandchildren. You should have been thinking about your descendants because they don't owe you anything because you didn't win the election for them. Let's continue on.
Stand back and take this in here. The media mob now edits and controls. They don't even want you to be able to decide for yourself, just like big tech companies are editing what news articles you can read and make decisions on. State after state. Let's start in Pennsylvania, where something strange and suspicious has been happening. In Philadelphia, election officials, they're fighting tooth and nail to prevent poll watchers, which the law allows, from observing the ongoing vote count. Look at this summary of law. Quote, partisan observers may observe at polling locations and may still until the time that the counting of the votes is complete. Partisan observers are permitted to be present when absentee and mail-in ballot envelopes are open and when the ballots are counted and recorded. And post-election, partisan observers may be present at the tabulation or canvassing of unofficial and official returns and any recount or recanvass. Listen to how one poll watcher described the scene. Take a look.
Supposedly observing, but we can't see. We're further away than I am from you all here. At least 100 feet away from open ballots that go back out of our sight. We can't see them. We don't know what's happening to them. It's just, there's no way for us to meaningfully observe the process from where they have us.
During that 4, 5, 6 hour period now, the Republican election observers were barred from doing their jobs and what the law allows. And this is not the first time a poll watcher was blocked. Take a look at this example, actually caught on tape. Let your own eyes decide.
You're not letting me in? Well, what? No. That's why I told you, call the police. Do it. If you legal, call the cops.
The city guy is in the bathroom. He'll be there. Call that number. Tell him to call somebody.
I have a citywide watcher certificate.
And it's not for this location.
No, it's not for this. It's not. Is this the city of Philadelphia? This is the city of Philadelphia. This is the city of Philadelphia. This is the city of Philadelphia. You wanted to talk. You wanted to talk outside. Let's talk. I have a line. I asked you to read the line. The line said it's good in every ward and division in the city.
Now, just this year, a Philadelphia judge of elections admitted that he took bribes to stuff the ballot box for Democratic candidates. The city's treasurer was fired after getting arrested by the feds for embezzling money. The city's former congressman was indicted on voter fraud and bribery. So, yeah, it's very important that Republican poll watchers observe the process as a matter of law in Philadelphia. That law has been broken, and it is pure corruption that they are being blocked, especially since the state's top officials are openly and publicly hostile to President Trump. Now, before the election, October 31st to be exact, before any votes were counted, the state's attorney general was already predicting, quote, if all the votes are added up in PA, Trump is going to lose. That's why he's working overtime to subtract as many votes as possible from the process. Meanwhile, the Pennsylvania Secretary of State tweeted, using the title president before the word Trump really demeans the office of the presidency. Little bias there. The state's lieutenant governor just referred to President Trump as, quote, just another internet troll. In Detroit, dozens of poll watchers were reportedly barred from observing the process there, some forcibly removed from the room as local election workers were actually cheering. Take a look. That's a matter of law also. Look at your screen. At one site, workers put cardboard over the windows of a vote counting station so no one could see in. Meanwhile, according to Project Veritas, a purported whistleblower from the Postal Service in Michigan in Traverse City alleges that he was ordered to backdate the postmark on a newly discovered batch of mail-in ballots. Now, we have not independently verified, but we'll let you decide. Take a look.
Tell us where you work.
I work in the Traverse City Post Office, more specifically the Barlow branch.
Your boss told you and your colleagues something that shocked you this morning. What was it?
We were issued a directive this morning to collect any ballots we find in mailboxes, collection boxes, just outgoing mail in general, separate them at the end of the day so that they could hand stamp them with the previous day's date. Today is November 4th, for clarification.
So 8 p.m. election day, November 3rd. The Court of Appeals ruled ballots have to be received by that time. And what were you told?
To separate them today so they could mark them with yesterday's date and send them through the express system to wherever they needed to go.
This appears to be an attempt to circumvent Michigan law and allow late votes.
And meanwhile, in another bombshell Project Veritas video, a purported Nevada mailman is captured on tape sharing unclaimed ballots with an undercover journalist. Can't verify, but we'll let you decide.
Yeah, where can I find a handful of them?
That we showed you that at the top, okay? If you are not, read the 2 comments from Tracy Latrice, Tanya, when you get a chance. The first one and the second one, because I can't see the full thing. I'll tell you when to go. If you are not upset and not about to get on your Twitter or your Facebook and say that we want the election to be fair, then you are part of the corruption. You have chosen to be corrupt. We sound the alarm over here because it is not about Donald Trump or Biden. It's about American blacks. And if they can do this to him, what will they be able to do to us? But of course, you're under a spell. But if you are not under the spell, if you know that it's wrong and you don't do, you are part of the corruption. Even those who are under the spell are under the corruption. Because once you hear this, once you hear the truth, you could be assessed for hearing the truth. So let's read the 2 comments. Then we're going to get to the third package here.
She said, to lose one's integrity over an election is sad. It is, Tracy, it's deplorable. Her other comment is, if this is a spiritual test, many have failed. Let me, those of you who are wearing headphones and stuff, turn your volume down a little bit. If this is a spiritual test, many have failed. Christian people, professors of the Lord Jesus Christ, waiting to gain entry into heaven, in your afterlife, and you are in agreement right now with knowing that this was rigged. You wish death on a man while he was sick, when the whole country is fighting a virus. Who do you think the workers of iniquity are that Christ is going to reject in that day? Who do you think it is? Because the book wasn't talking to the world. The book was talking to believers. So who do you think the workers of iniquity are that he's going to say, depart from me? I never knew you. Because had there ever been any integrity? Had there ever been any character? Had there ever been any of that Spirit of God in you? There's no way that you could have been in agreement with anything like this. And I said it. You don't like it, hit me in my inbox if you don't like it. It's the truth. And unless you repent, you're going to share space with the authors of this confusion. You're going to be sharing space with them. And that is a hot, uncomfortable place.
A hot, uncomfortable place. You see, people, this is how serious this is. This is an incantation. This is something that it's someone within those organizations that are soothsayers. They're sorcerers or sorceress. It doesn't have to be everyone, but all people have to do is some willingly go along with it. Like when you look at the faces of the people on Fox News as this was happening, their faces were drawn and they were looking at each other like, this ain't how this usually goes. These are white people, and they said, this ain't how this usually goes. This is what was on their face. Some of them are in, others aren't. And I think it's going to cause a rift, and some people's jobs are going to be on the line over there. You're going to be hearing about people moving over to Newsmax or something, because this is a travesty, and they used the station that Donald Trump liked the best. They usually gave him a fair shake to usher in the death. He won the election, right? So no matter how you cut it, Biden is the, see, once they found out that it wasn't going to be I don't know why the Democrats thought it was going to be a landslide. All of the people that came out to see Donald Trump, all of the things that he did, bringing factories into the country, all of that is going to be told as the factories leave and people are in the food lines, and when the immigrants come in and they take a lower wage and you're in an unemployment line as an American black, and they put you in a trick because it's probably going to implement in about the first 2 years, but you're going to have your nice mortgage and you got your $15,000 tax credit rebate, but you're not going to be able to pay the property tax or the mortgage, and you're going to be out on your ass because they're going to bring in the immigrants and they're going to take a lower wage, and you're going to get your pink slip after training them. You're going to be there and you're going to say, wow, how come someone didn't tell us that? Oh man, because you were in the demonic spell. You were in the middle of it and you didn't realize it. You don't even know why you didn't like the man. You loved the man when he was a mogul on TV, but somehow when he came down the escalator, they started the incantation. It was the strangest thing to me. It was the strangest thing. Like, I listened to what the man said and I researched and I went deeper than what the echo chamber was saying, and that's why I had to switch channels, because the echo chamber was, unbeknownst to me, doing this incantation. But from the definition of incantation, that's what this is. Now, another incantation that has been done, another demonic spell, is to make you believe that Kamala is black. That she's black. And that's what it is, but she doesn't have any lineage line here in America to make her American black, but you think that she's black. And it's smash the like button, smash the share button, tag your people in it so they can watch the replay. You can go over to Spotify and listen to the replay and binge listen to everything that we have said, because we lay it out for you with definition. You have had a spell put on you for Kamala, and you want to know where it comes from? It comes from the music. And I'm not going to play it too loud, but remember this is Eric B. and Rakim. After that comes Mars, Pump Up the Volume, and after that is Truth Hurts Addiction, or Addicted, or whatever it is, featuring Rakim. Rakim is on 2 records where you hear Indian people singing, and it's a trance, and it makes you feel like you are connected to Indian people, and so thus she was able to pull the wool of your eyes, because this was a long-term incantation through the music. Repetitive rhythm. And you were loving it. I can't stand none of these records now. I can't stand none of them. Matter of fact, the Truth Hurts record, when you hear it, The old Indian woman singing on there, she sounds like she's some kind of demonic witch as you listen to it now. But this is how they got you. They got you through the music. Let's listen to the music. Let's listen. You hear that? They got you through the music. Let me see if I can bring it up just a little. Right? They got you through the music. Right? And I'm not going to give you the full hypnotic. That's why I'm cutting it. Because I don't want you to get the full hypnoticness of the record. Right? Pump up the volume. Listen to that. You're hearing these Indian chants and it's getting you ready. I'm not saying that it was getting you ready for this time right now, but it gets you ready to believe that Indians from India are your friends, when in actuality, how could people who come from a place, listen to this. Listen to that voice. That's horrible. Right? And it got you with this, and it got you brainwashed that you think that Indians, hear that? Oh, I used to love that record. I can't stand none of these records. They got you bent. They got your head bent in through the music. They use the music. You don't even know what these women are saying. But it just sounded good. Listen to this one. She sounds like a demonic. Listen. You don't even know what she's saying. You don't know what they're saying, but here's the black woman emulating like she's an Indian from India when we don't need to emulate anybody else because we are American black and we move everything. We don't have to emulate anything. We don't have to have someone that's not black in one of the highest positions in the land because our people are valuable enough to have that without needing someone being an imitator or emulator. What is wrong? Wake up from the incantation. And we here made sure that we brought the reality for you so you could wake up. And if you watch this and you don't wake up and you're not on the internet saying, look, take this away. We want this to be fair. We're not going to believe him. We're going to be in his ass. We're going to have reparations then, reparations now, reparations in the future from this segregationist, and the one is imitating, acting like she's American black because we have been indoctrinated through music to believe that Indians look like black people in the music. Huh? This is what this is. You've been playing. Ain't no playing no more. You are a victim of incantations. You're a victim. And if you don't get on there and say something, you are complicit and you don't deserve anything. Listen to that. We've been indoctrinated. Oh man, it's so hypnotic. We're hypnotic. So when we look at her, we think that she's black because we've been indoctrinated through the music. Oh, this used to be my jam. I can't stand these records anymore. I can't stand these records no more. This is insanity. That we don't value ourselves no more than to want to be part of a corrupt team. Instead of looking at policies, not pipe dreams. We've had enough of pipe dreams. Whew. We got 7 minutes, 3:50.
You know, I went to look up, I just went to look up what was being said in Mars, Pump Up the Volume by the Indian woman. And I'm on this, what do you call it? It's one of those forums where, blog, where they're talking about it and people are saying it's irrelevant what she was saying. See, that's all part of the spell. It's irrelevant. Everything that's mixed into music is relevant. It's relevant to know what's spoken over you, because if you don't know what it means and it's plain, it's bad enough that the stuff you do hear, you know what it means. Okay, it won't tell it. It's saying that everybody's saying it's irrelevant what she was saying. The truth is, you don't know what the heck she was saying. You don't know, and you're saying it's irrelevant because you don't know. This whole world is under a spell. And these things are spiritually discerned, the scripture says that if you don't have any kind of connection with God for real, so you can talk all that stuff all you want to, but the proof is in the pudding. When I hear people talking like everybody else, when I hear everybody on the train of something, when I see people that are not stepping away from the crowd and going their own way, see, we're the type of people, if everybody's going to the right, we going left. Everybody's going down, we going up. They going left, we going right. Because when you follow the crowd, there's where the trouble is. When you follow the crowd, that's where the whispers are. When you get off by yourself, that's where you hear God. You understand? That's where things naturally just come to you. You naturally just walk in it. And when you're off from the crowd, which is why I left the traditional church, I had to get away from the crowd. I heard from God more, because initially I backslid, but I heard from God more since I left out of that environment than I ever did close to 15 years I was in it. That's saying something. Now I have mental clarity. I have spiritual clarity. I'm walking in my purpose and my calling, and I don't have a need for the thoughts and opinions of men at all. I dance by the beat of my own drum. So this is a situation where we gotta, because God loves you though. We are his creation. So because we don't believe fat meat is greasy, well, some of y'all don't believe fat meat is greasy, this outpouring is going to be necessary. And they getting ready to drown you. I'll be praying that you're able to sustain your family and stuff while they're taking things away from you. Loss of jobs, loss of health benefits, giving it all to the immigrants. I'll be praying for you.
Well, people, hasn't this been a productive day, right? This 5 days concludes the series of freedom of speech in the House. Go back and listen to 1 through 5 on Spotify or your favorite podcast providers. We're on all of them, including Podcast Addict. Make sure you subscribe to #TFR Podcast Live and #ObservationTFR. Freedom of speech in the House, Part 5. They've cast a demonic spell, and we're in, quote unquote, free will to follow it. But I'm telling you now that if you're following it and you hear this, then for sure you are in corruption. Because you shouldn't want corruption. You should have wanted Biden to win or lose. He lost the election, no doubt. He wins the election through hook or crook, which is corruption. And there are black people involved in it. The hands are dirty, and if you do not speak out, your hands are dirty too. I wash my hands of it because I've spoken out. And I said that he has no space by me other than I'm going to be in his butt to say, where's reparations then, now, and in the future? And if you're not about that, you don't understand history. If you think that that's a handout, you don't understand history, and you need to go back and read history, because every group of people who have their own space was given it because of something that was done wrong to them, except for American black people. And of course, other people, of course, in the black diaspora, but we're talking about American black people. So people, this has been another great, robust episode. It's a Friday. We will see you again on Sunday with hashtag TFR Podcast Live at 5:30 p.m. Pacific, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. That's the film review, movies, music, culture, politics, society podcast, where we bring the reviews to save you pocket revenue and information like on this show that may one day save your life, if not your soul. So people, we shall see you Saturday, but my sister and I will see you on Monday at 9:30 a.m. Pacific, 12:30 p.m. Eastern on hashtag ObservationTFR. We'll see you next week.
Here's the thing about your movie, why I made a curator's pick of the Hollywood Fringe. Community, heart, it's like crazy.